What is going on, Sooner Nation? There's been a lot going on with Ted Roof mutually parting ways with Brenton Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners staff. Oklahoma hiring a new defensive coordinator. But today we got to talk about some recruits where their stock is rising. We got to evaluate that and break that down and talk about just exactly how Brent Venables is pulling something off and potentially making other coaches across the college football landscape jealous of what he is getting. We're going to reveal that secret and more. But before we do it, guys, thank you for tuning into the PG Show where we talk about all things college football. You know what? I got to talk about OU because it's the team that I love to talk about and I love to listen. Guys, the team that you love to come listen and hear about every single day. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like. And for those of you who return all the time to watch my videos, make sure you're subscribed because 78% of you are not subscribed. Additionally, if you haven't already, make sure you're joining the discussion. Jump down in the comments below. Make sure you're giving me your thoughts. So we got to start with one of the more intriguing prospects that was at the Under Armour All-American camp this past week, or the Under Armour All-American game, whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, really, we got to start off with Eugene Brooks because he might have been one of the most impressive players, especially in the practices that we saw all weekend. And Eugene Brooks was a guy that didn't lose a single rep. And as I find the right video here, as you can see here, Eugene Brooks, just an absolutely strong man. And we looked at Eugene Brooks when he originally committed to Oklahoma and said, oh, it'll be probably a year or two before he sees the field. Maybe he's got a little bit of bad weight. I think at the time he was like 330, 6'4". But now you look at him and, hey, he looks to have shed a little bit of that bad weight and looks to have gotten a little bit stronger. So you look at Eugene Brooks here, and you look at some of the guys that he went up against, like a Dominic McKinley. He went up against the other Texas A&M defensive lineman that I just can't think of at the moment. But you guys know it, right? He's going up against some of the elite talent in this class, and he's winning those reps, didn't lose a single one. Absolutely. And then some of these videos, just taking his hand, one arm, stopping these guys. So you look at Eugene Brooks' versatility, right? What he's going to be able to bring to Oklahoma in a year where the offensive line has so many questions. So you ask yourself and you say, okay, Caden Green, that right guard spot's open. Not to mention, you've got a couple tackle spots open. Could Eugene Brooks be one of those versatile offensive linemen that Bill Beatenbow loves so much to where he can kind of play both positions or either side of the line? And is there a chance that we see Eugene Brooks potentially in his true freshman season getting some significant snaps? Because again, he is a difference maker. And when you watch him, your eyes open. So he looks comfortable at the tackle position. You do have questions. Hey, can he play guard at the elite level? But what you just saw at the Under Armour All-American camps, you're excited for what you're getting in Eugene Brooks. You won this commitment over Texas and USC. You got another one out of Chatsworth, California. So you're extending your footprint into another state. Now, the next prospect that we got to talk about is obviously the five-star defensive lineman, David Stone. And as you can see here, not only did he do well in his drills, but David Stone did well in his one-on-ones as well. Just absolutely manhandling some of these, we'll call them children out there, right? He is a man amongst boys. And David Stone coming in at 6'4", 280 pounds, originally here from Oklahoma City, but you guys know the drill. He went out to go play at IMG Academy to go out there and play against some of the most elite talent in the state of Florida. So Oklahoma wins this one over Miami. You win him over Michigan State, who, yeah, Mel Tucker and them, they were doing that work out there, right? They were almost about to land a five-star defensive lineman, whether you like to admit it or not. But David Stone, after the Under Armour All-American game, it's not it for him. He's still going to the Polynesian Bowl, where we're going to get to see other Oklahoma prospects like Jaden Jackson, who that is another prospect on the defensive line that a lot of Oklahoma fans are really excited to see, because both of them can be a disruptive force in the middle, and kind of help collapse pockets. And there is no doubt in my mind where you have a 3T or a 4T scenario next year, and you can see David Stone and Jaden Jackson out there with maybe even a Dejon Terry and a Jacob Lacey. Both of those guys are that good, and you were able to see David Stone's productivity here in the under All-American game. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, this is what you have been craving for years. That 5-star defensive lineman that's going to come in, 5-star interior defensive lineman. Let me just say it that way, because you've got 5-star edge rushers. The 5-star interior defensive lineman that's going to come in, again, cause havoc in breaking down the line, breaking down those pockets. And hey, you didn't lose one to, yeah, you heard me right. So the next and final prospect that we have to look at is one that when Oklahoma won Daniel Akinkumi on the recruiting trail, this is one that not only myself, but Jay over at Unfair Sports, Ty over at Around the Table, and many others told you this is secretly a big win for Oklahoma. And when we look back at Daniel Akinkumi's career, Daniel Akinkumi could be a guy that he potentially, we look back and say, how is he not a 5-star? Unfortunately, coming from England, right? Not getting to play the level of talent that most of these guys get to play week in and week out here in the States, he just wasn't given the benefit of the doubt. We look at Daniel Akinkumi and you see him here in these reps, you see how high that ceiling is. And although in a couple of these he got beat, or I mean, even in one of them, and Daniel even called it out because one of the Texas guys decided to say that Zena Omazulu beat Daniel Akinkumi. He was like, yeah, I'm going to call you out and say, no, did y'all see the face mask? Did y'all see that defensive holding right there? So you look at how high Daniel Akinkumi's ceiling is, you're excited to get a guy like this on campus because you even heard about how Daniel Akinkumi was attending late night practices, was one of the last guys to get off the field. That is a guy that Bill Bedenbaugh wants to get into this room and get on the offensive line. And you imagine, by the time Daniel Akinkumi's career at Oklahoma wraps up, he might be a second or third round draft pick, dare I say first rounder. So you look at these three guys and you ask yourself the question, did their stock rise at the Under Armour All-American game? 100%. Brent Venables, Bill Bedenbaugh, Todd Bates, they absolutely crushed it on the recruiting trail. And we can get excited about these three guys, but there are 24 other guys in this class that you can get excited about as well. Obviously, one of the most notables, Eddie Pierre-Louis, who absolutely can just outbench anybody, putting up NFL combine reps. And he's not even in college yet. He's going to be a late bloomer. He's going to be here in the summer, not an early enrollee. But you would imagine if Eddie Pierre-Louis can take care of his body the way that Eugene Brooks has during the offseason, there's a good chance Eddie Pierre-Louis might come in and try to challenge somebody for some significant reps in the 2024 inaugural SEC season. But guys, if you haven't already, make sure you jump down in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. And if you guys haven't, hit that like and hit that subscribe button.